Good evening. I think I'm live. I hope so. I thought I'd jump on here real quick and give another health update for those who haven't heard anything in a while. Um, I know there's some that have asked, um, what's going on, um, and I've informed them. I just haven't really been online uh, to do a whole lot. So, hey, Giggles. At least I know I'm live on YouTube. Things have been pretty crazy here. Um, it's been, I think the last live update I did was on January, maybe the 25th or something, late January anyway. Um, Quite a bit's gone on, but not a whole lot has changed as far as what's going on with me, other than a couple, I shouldn't say minor, it's kind of not minor, but things that I'll go over towards the end. But um, I got to follow my list or I'll be completely lost. I kind of, before I do the live updates, I go on and I look at my calendar and I just kind of make notes of everything that's happened between the last done that I did and now, so that I can update everybody. But before I get to me, um, the uh, Daisy. She's right here, laying with me. Little Miss Daisy has had some some work done. She uh, she had two vet visits, one in January, one in February, and the last one that she went to, not the last one, the one before, they had said that she had some teeth issues that needed some to be fixed, and we took her in, had it done. They had to pull two teeth, and um, one in the, I believe it was the left side, towards the back, middle of the mouth, back of the mouth, somewhere in there, and she had one of her front teeth pulled. The front one was broke off around the gum line. Trying to hold the camera for her. She won't do it herself, little diva. But they had to pull it because the tooth was broke off at the gum line. It was dead. So it was just going to cause her problems. So they pulled that one. And the one on the side, but he wasn't able to stitch it. He said the gum, he came in, it was kind of really sad. He comes in and he says, is she a chewer? I said, well, yeah, she chews her toys and that, but she's not she doesn't chew on any furniture or anything of ours. He says, no, I don't mean soft stuff. I'm talking hard. And I said, well, she'll chew her bones. We'll give her a bone. He said, I'm talking about metal. No, Daisy's never been a chewer. She's never chewed on metal or anything. Um, he said, he said she'd spent a lot of time chewing on metal. And I told him, I said, well, we just adopted her and Duke last year in January of last year. I said, so we've only had her a little over a year. We don't know her history. She was brought in to the Humane Society as a stray with Duke. We had just adopted them both. They didn't have a history on them. Um, he said that she spent a very, very long time chewing on metal. And it basically screwed her gums and her jaw up, her teeth up. She's wore her teeth down, some of her teeth that shouldn't be wore down. She's wore down um, quite a bit. And we don't know obviously why, but she was obviously her history isn't a very good one. She's had some uh, something bad in her life. Whether it was she doesn't like being tied up. We found that out when we went up to the UP last year in May. We were staying in just over the line in Wisconsin, and when we were loading the car up, we decided to hook them both, just wrap their leash around a post, just so we could finish getting everything in. We had gotten them in January, and this was May. And although she pretty much stayed there, Duke stayed with us. She would, if she seen something, she would take off. And the cell service was spotty in that area, so her collar may not work. We may not be able to track her. But less than 2 minutes, she had chewed through her leash and was standing there with us. So she doesn't like being tied up. So I don't know if somebody had her tied up outside, and she was chewing on everything. And I know when we got Duke, her and Duke both, Duke had a lot of teeth missing, teeth worn down. They mentioned that he had some teeth issues, and he was going to need some dental work. But then it wasn't long after we found out that he had bone cancer. So we the vet said there's no use in doing any dental work because he's just going to pass away soon. Once they get the limp, it could at 2 to 3 months and they pass. Well, when we got him, he had a little bit of a limp. We just thought at the time that it was arthritis. It seemed like it. The vet seemed to think it might have been, but yeah. So we don't know what their history was or why, but they both seem to have been chewing on metal. So the little diva here, our little princess, Daisy Lou, as Beth calls her, she definitely has a much better life now than what she did. So kind of nice with her being here with us. So yeah, Giggles, I didn't see a thing for him. Whenever I'm online and I see it, and and I don't have anything going, I'll jump in with Paul. I enjoy going in with and talking to him, but the problem is usually by the time I see it, he's already offline. With everything going, Daisy just flopped. She's my little buddy. But anyway, yeah, I haven't seen Matt. Hey Matt, I haven't seen Paul on since the last time I jumped in. So, but with me being off and that, I'll probably wind up catching him more often and be able to jump in depending on what my doctor's appointments are for. Hey Beth, yeah, I had Daisy on there, and I thought I'd put Daisy Cam just for shits and giggles. She's definitely a big old baby. My mom said she needs a piece of bacon jerky. She just had a piece of bacon jerky just before we sat down here. She wanted to go out again, and she's gotten to where when I come in, she comes in, I come in with her. Usually I'll go out and stand on the deck there or sit on the deck. She used to get a treat, but she stopped eating treats. So I thought, well, I'll just give her a piece of either beef jerky or bacon jerky. And she's gotten to where she doesn't want treats now. Beth says, I don't know why she won't eat any treats. I give her the good treats that we buy and she won't even eat them. She won't eat nothing. I said, did you try bacon jerky? She'll do bacon jerky or beef jerky, but because of her jaw and the work she had done, um, we haven't given her any beef jerky. The bacon jerky is a little softer, so she can eat that. She has to be careful until she goes back to the vet tomorrow, and they look at it and make sure everything's healing okay because her gums were so thin, um, they couldn't stitch it, so they had to let it heal up on its own, and she had to eat soft stuff. So went to Meijer that day, trying to find food that she would eat, and we've never given them wet dog food, so that was a treat. Trying to figure that out. Um, she's usually when Duke was usually the chicken boy, and she was the beef girl. She didn't care for chicken as much as she did beef. So I bought a bunch of beef, like roast beef, cans of roast beef, people food, not dog food. Um, I did buy a couple of cans of the Meijer premium chicken, canned chicken, um, and the Swanson canned chicken. And then I bought, some foil packets of roast beef. There was some meatballs, and I don't know. I know I went over to the dog food section. I got some dog food, 3 or 4 cans of dog food. She didn't really care for much of it. Um, the Meijer premium chicken, she won't eat it. The Swanson she liked. Um, the roast beef in the can, not a fan. We had a hard time getting her to eat, and then she didn't want to drink, and she's eating and drinking good now. So my mom and Angie went to Wendy's and brought a burger back, and she finished my half of the other half of the burger. So she she's doing good. But I wanted to give you a quick update on Daisy before I got and with my stuff. So back in not health related, but back on March 1st, we bought a camper. Um, I was going to upload pictures and I never did. Let me see if I can. I don't even know if I have any pictures on here. I have them on my phone. Let's see. Pictures are quite a bit back a ways because it's been a while. I don't know if this is going to work very well. Yeah, it's working. That's the camper we bought. Um, it's a Rockwood Mini Light. Um, this is from the dealer. This isn't ours. The pictures we took. I haven't taken any pictures yet. Um, focus. Maybe not. The reason we got this one, look at the counter space on that thing. It has a lot of floor room. I'll get some good pictures and I'll post them once we get them done. We finally got. It's been a journey. We bought it brought it home that night, and they had washed it, and it was really cold. I got home. I couldn't. All the storage doors were unlocked. Before we left, I had asked him if they were locked, and I thought he said yes, but I think he was talking about the door. Um, they weren't locked. The rear door on the passenger side, when I opened it up, I pulled the handles and the latches got stuck up because it was frozen. and I couldn't get them. I couldn't pull them down. So that stayed open all night. That's where the rear kitchen area is. I thought, well, we don't live in a high crime area. Hopefully, nobody decides to just check it out. So it was left open all night. I couldn't get in because the locks were frozen all around, including the door. The following Sunday, I think it was the 2nd, March 2nd. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. It was going to be over 40 degrees, so I thought, well, I'll try it, on tomorrow. And while I was out, I stopped at AutoZone and bought some lock deicer. Most of the locks had thawed out. The one door lock gave me some problems, and one or two of the other locks. So I hit them with the lock deicer. I got in. I also put some lube in it. Got in. Was able to do a couple things. Mackenzie wanted to see it. She came over and was playing in there for a while. And long story short, when she finally left, I just locked it up. The following day, on Monday, I went to get in. I couldn't get in. I was locked out. The key would not go in the deadbolt all the way. And I tried several times. Finally, I called their tech line, and it was determined that the lock was broke. He had told me if you can get into the camper somehow, all you'd have to do is turn the deadbolt. It would unlock, and you'd be able to go. So I got my niece Haley to the one side door. You can get in and lift the couch up and go in that way, because it has a Murphy bed in the front. So that Murphy bed has to drop down. Your pass-through is actually under the Murphy bed. So she went in. She couldn't get it unlocked. It wouldn't turn. I gave her a pair of pliers. I said, try that. That didn't work. So finally I told her, I said, why don't you just take the screws out? And it doesn't come apart because you have to have the end of the door. There's 2 screws in the plate there. They have to come out. So I just had her put the screws back in. I had to take it back out to cold water to get fixed. And we just took it out there, I think Friday, this past Friday, I believe it was. The 14th. And when they also called me and said that there was a recall on the refrigerator, something to do with the vent. Something needs to be cut. Either a vent hole needs to be cut, or the vent needs to be cut and shortened. I don't know. They fixed it anyway. So I can get in now. So we'll probably be doing some camping this year. Not exactly sure when. We're gonna start close to home first, just so that we can figure everything out. But Matt, that would be a good idea. But she probably is too much of a diva for a GoPro mount. She'd be like, "You expect me to carry this? You carry it." Hey, Candace, just going through some of the comments here. It's trying to catch up. They've been coming in as I've been flapping my gums here. Yeah, Matt, me too. Hey, Michelle. Deb. Yeah, Matt says the camper's a beaut too. He was over here the one night. We stayed out there chatting for a while. It started getting cold, so I turned the furnace on. So we know that works anyway. And Beth, we might have to do that. We are gonna be going up north. Right now we want to camp close to home. just, figure out what we're forgetting, that type of thing, so that we know if we do have to pick anything up, where to go or what to do. Give us time to order it before we take a long trip, if we have to order it. But we do plan on going up north, um, at some point. I know Beth wants to do. She's wanted to camp at the Fayette campground for quite a while, so I don't know if we'll go there. We've talked about the Straits campground. Um, I don't think either one of them have full hookups, so I'm not sure if, if she's talking about staying for a week, and you know, if we stay for a week, it's going to make it difficult with uh, so we'll see what that entails. Yeah, the shakedown trip. Well, probably everybody that I've in the groups that I'm in always talks about doing staying in at least once or twice in your driveway, just to get used to it, and then going from there. But uh, so we'll see how that goes. Um, in a few months, a couple months or whatever, uh, we'll go up north somewhere probably. We're gonna figure it out this weekend where we're going, and when. I have some more doctors. The week that we usually go is the week of our anniversary. We usually go up, take a trip. It's usually winds up being up north, at somewhere up north. Last year we wanted to do like the western part of the UP, so we stayed just over the line in Wisconsin at a house there, because we had Duke and Daisy. We weren't sure how they would do in a motel, so we did a VRBO there. Worked out really good. It was 20-acre property, and it was great. Um, this year we'll just take the camper. Hey Janet, come to the Truth Seekers in the UP at the end of May. I'm not sure. The end of May. It depends on when Beth. Because with the holiday, I know there's some things going. So with Memorial Day, I'm not sure exactly what it entails, and of course, by then I should be back to work and not dealing with all this health crap. So we'll figure it out. No, the Zen Lake Creek, that was in Big Rapids, Michigan. That was a cabin over there. We didn't have Duke and Daisy then. We've talked about going back to that place. We love that place. The that cabin doesn't allow pets, so with Daisy we couldn't go. We would have to leave her home, which she wouldn't be very happy. If it was just for a night or a couple nights, it wouldn't be bad. But if we went for more than a couple nights, like a week or something, she would go nuts without us. Beth gets mad when I leave, because she says Daisy cried and went nuts the whole time you were gone. She definitely doesn't like it when I leave, and when we both leave, it's even worse. So, I did think about it, contacting them sometime around now, maybe a little later, to see about it. But then we bought the camper, so just because we've stayed there before, and she commented on how clean the house was when we left, and we didn't have to clean it that well, and she would know at least that if we had the dog there, we would take care of it. But chances are they would say no, because they don't want pets in there. But with the camper, we don't have to worry about it. We can just take her with us. So that's not a big deal. And it would probably save us money too. But the weekend after Memorial Day, yeah, we'll have to look into it. Hey, Chris, Janet. Um, yeah, she's a cutie. She's over here sleeping now. But anyway, on to the health stuff. On the late January, I seen the surgeon um, that did the mastectomy and removed the lymph nodes, and he went over my results, which I already knew. The results that the lump under my right arm, the brick as I called it, because it felt like a brick, and it was painful. Was not fluid. It was tissue. So they couldn't, when they did the ultrasound to remove the fluid, the only fluid they found when they did it, they found nothing under my right arm at all. Um, on the right, just above the right breast, or just below it, one or the other, there was a spot of fluid, but he said it's so small. I said it isn't worth draining. Um, he said if you want it drained, I'll drain it. He said, but it's not worth the pain and the hassle for you to go through it. Um, but that didn't bother me. It was under my arm that was hurting, and was getting larger, and that wasn't fluid. Uh, so there was nothing they could do for that. Because they were only there to drain the fluid, to do the ultrasound and drain the fluid. So I went back to the surgeon, and he said it should shrink over time. That it's, the tissue will, I don't know, whatever it'll do, whatever it'll do. I don't know what it'll, how he, what he called it, but it has gone down. I don't feel like I have a brick under my arm, and it don't hurt anymore, and I can lift my arm up and not be in pain. So that's a good thing. I don't even think I go back to see him now. I've seen him a couple times between then and now, the last video and now. And everything was, has gone pretty good now, so I don't have to deal with all that. I'll get to that in a minute, Chris. I started, I went, my legs through January. I believe I mentioned it on the last video that I did in late January. Through January, I was in the hospital twice, both times for almost a week. And each time I came home from the hospital, the following day I was sick. So I was in bed for a few days. So I spent most of the first half of January in bed, either at the hospital or home. And then the middle and the later part of January, at the hospital again, and at home sick after I got home. And because of the pain and the being sick and being in bed and everything else, when I'm in bed, I don't wear my wraps on my legs. And with the pain that I had from the mastectomy, I couldn't wear what I call my gut gutter, the thing that straps over, because it goes over my shoulders, and it was going right over the mastectomy area, and that's what I use to hold my stomach. I have water retention in my stomach, and then the loose skin from losing weight gives me all kinds of problems. And I took an apron and come up with an idea. Sat down with my mom the one day, probably a year or so ago, maybe more than that, and said, "This is what I want to do." And I told her I want to put straps on it, so it straps around my waist, and then straps over the top so that they crisscross and don't just slide off, and see if it'll hold it. And at the time, my stomach was the lower stomach, where the water was hard as a rock. It was about the size and shape of a football, and now it's not like that. It's gone down some, but when I didn't wear anything through January, my legs got bigger, my stomach got bigger again. Uh, all the water retention came back, and had all kinds of problems from that. It's starting to go down a little bit slowly. I've seen a cardiologist that deals with lymphedema. He sent me for an ultrasound in my legs, which I knew the blood flow in my legs was fine. So I knew that was going to be useless, but you got to jump through the hoops before the insurance company will actually pay for the pump that you need. I love the guy that I went and seen. He was great. Um, very listened very well. And he told me, he says, you probably know more about lymphedema and treating it than most of the patients that have come in here, or some of the doctors that I've talked to. And because of it, he took everything I said, and went with it. But the insurance company, before they'll pay for the pump that I need for my legs, you got to do the ultrasound, make sure the blood flow is good. Then you got to do lymphedema therapy, which we know isn't going to work because I've been through it many times. I've had issues with lymphedema since 2015, 16, something like that. I had really bad issues with it in 2017, I think it was. Might have been 16. But yeah, I don't want to go back to that. And the way it was going, it was looking like I was going to, with wounds again and everything else. I think I've avoided that. I hope so. But without the pump, there ain't nothing I can do for that. I keep my wraps on and my gut gutter on and go for that. Yeah, they were looking for clots, Chris, but we knew I'm on blood thinners, so Coumadin. So I doubt I had clots, but I've never, every time they've ever done the ultrasounds, it always came back fine. The lymphedema therapy never worked. The only thing that ever did was a pump. So I know they have to go through it, but it's just a pain when the insurance company wants you to go through all that because they don't want to put the money out for a pump when they'd save money if they just bought the pump. In my case, anyway. I don't know about everybody else's case. I'm sure others others may have clots in their legs or issues or whatever, but for me, we know that's not the case. So the next thing was my cardiologist had sent me to a lung doctor, a lung specialist. She was worried. Insurance companies suck, that's for sure. Although my insurance company has been pretty good, I can't complain too much about it. I've got good insurance, so I can't complain there. The oncologist had seen a spot on my lungs. I've had a spot on my lungs for I don't know, a few years at least. I also had some lymph nodes that were swollen or whatever, and she was worried about that. I told her it's not going to be nothing's going to be found. The spot on my lungs is there, and the issues with the lymph nodes that she's seen on that scan is probably because of all the infections that I've had with my surgery, and I think the mastectomy in the lymph nodes area, I think, got infected twice. I was put back in the hospital once for it, and it was infected again. So and this year I think I've been on antibiotics like 3 or 4 times because of infection. Chris, I had the biopsy last year. They didn't do one this time because it was just after I had finished chemo, and they didn't figure that it was cancerous. They just figured it was from that. But she wanted me to see a lung doctor, lung specialist, and he sent me in for a pulmonary function test. Everything was fine. He says, looking at your last 3 or 4 CT scans, that spot's been there. He said that nothing's changed. It hasn't gotten bigger, it hasn't gotten smaller. It's been there. I said, it's been there for a few years. And I tried telling her that, but, um, I normally I would have just told her, stick it in her ass. I'm not going to another damn doctor. I've got nothing but doctor's appointments and everything else anyway. But with the cancer, I wasn't sure, and I didn't want to take a chance. I figured it was, shortly after chemo, so I didn't think it would, you know, be an issue. But I'm not going to take a chance either, so I did go. Um, but he told me everything looks fine. He does want to see me in a couple months, and from now, I think it was 3 months, 4 months from that point. Uh, he'll do a CT scan, and if nothing's changed, he's just gonna. I don't have to go back to him or whatever. If it looks different, then yeah, Janet, better to be safe than sorry. That's true. Normally, because I knew it was there and I knew what was going on, like I said, I wouldn't have dealt with it. But with the cancer issue and that, I didn't want to take a chance. Um, yeah, Chris, chemo was done on December 2nd. That was my last chemo. Um, so I've been done with that for a while now. So the lung thing is doesn't look like much. I did have pneumonia um, in January. Um, I think I got it once since then, or started to when I got sick. Um, I didn't have the pain that I had back then, but I had some breathing issues and that, but that's all gone. It's all cleared up and everything seems to be good there. But so my lungs seem to be fine. February, I had a 3-year heart monitor put in, a 3-year loop monitor they call it. Just a little tiny thing. I don't know. I think he said it was about the size of a pencil, or shape of a pencil, thickness of a pencil, only about 3 inches or so long. It's really really small. They just went through and my chest just with a needle injected it, and away I went. Um, I've had an issue that haven't been able to catch. I did catch it on my cardiomobile once, and my doctor said, or cardiologist said, he can't use that, as proof of anything because it's not some, I don't know what it is. Anyway, he said, but it gave him the info he needed to get the loop monitor put in. So I've had that since February 11th, and hopefully it'll catch it. Um, let's see. Last month, I believe it was, I started going to a lymphedema support group. That's been pretty helpful. And the good thing about that, actually, the speaker that was speaking that time was on compression. Um, I don't know. I get the feeling that he sells, he's a salesman for compression stuff or whatever, or something to do with that anyway. But I was really looking forward to seeing what he had to say because I was having the issues with my legs. Because the wraps and that I have on too are customs created by my mom and I. We took I back in 2016 or 7, I think it was March of 17. Um, I had ordered the material. My mom and I sat down and cut it, and she went upstairs and sewed it. And I've been wearing those wraps until last year from 2017, but they were starting to really get worn, and the hook and loop, which is the Velcro stuff that's on it, was starting to separate from the material, and I didn't have enough to make another set, so I had to order some, and um, so we made another one. But I really wanted to see what he had to say. Unfortunately, he had canceled because that was the day we were getting a snowstorm, and he's not in Monroe. He's, I don't know what part of the region he's from, but um, long story short, he canceled. they still held the meeting because the snow had started while we were there, but it was still warm, so it was melting when it hit the ground. It wasn't sticking. I don't even think we really got anything out of that snowstorm here anyway. North of us, they did, but I think we got mostly maybe a dusting or whatever. It wasn't much, but it worked out really well because the lady that holds them, she did the lymphedema therapy on me back in the 2017, 18, 16. She was one of the therapists that did it. And then one of the other ladies that was there had breast cancer and has lymphedema in her arm, which was a concern of mine with the lymph nodes that they removed. Increases that risk. And then she told me she gave me some pointers on other stuff as well. So that really worked out well. I did see the plastic surgeon. I had seen him last August, but because of chemo, I couldn't obviously get the excess skin removed until I was done. They wanted to know, how things were going. I told them I'm done with chemo, and they asked if I was doing radiation, and at the time I had said no, but I wasn't 100% sure. Chris, I don't even know what that is. I'd have to ask Beth, and she ain't here. She's at work. The radiation, I had told him that I wasn't going to have it. She did send me over for radiation to the radiation. It's in the same building, but the chemo stuff that I had done was through the Toledo Clinic. The radiation and that is done through ProMedica Cancer Center, which is in the same building. It's just split in half. The Toledo Clinic is in one, and the other, the radiation, the cancer center, ProMedica Cancer Centers, in the other side. I went and seen him, and good night, Janet. Good to see you. He went through everything, recommended that I have the radiation done, and I asked him one question. I said, because when I went to that lymphedema support group, one of the things that she mentioned was that radiation increases your risk of lymphedema in that arm. Well, I've already got lymphedema issues. I've already, had the increased risk because the 16 lymph nodes were removed, and then you had radiation to increase that again. I didn't want lymphedema in my arm. I'm right-handed. The last thing I want to do is deal with that. So I asked him, I said, I've already had the mastectomy done. I've already had 16 lymph nodes removed. 3 of them were cancerous, and I expected 3 or 4 to be removed. I didn't even know I had 16 in that area, let alone get them removed. Chris, I'm not sure. I don't remember what they said it was. I want to say stage 3, but I don't remember. I couldn't honestly say for sure. I think I'd have to look at the paperwork. I don't even know where it is now. So I'm not sure. But the radiation, that was the one thing I asked him. I said, I've already had the lymph nodes were removed, the breast was removed. All that stuff was tested, and it was negative. I had 100% response to chemo. Why do I need radiation? And he couldn't really answer it. The only thing he kept repeating was, well, so and so did this study, and I'm not really happy with how he broke, he didn't break the study down. And, you're kind of in a gray area with the cancer that you had, and you're, being a male, blah, blah, blah. And which I've heard from the beginning. And at the end, he says that the guy's study shows that the mortality rate is the same either way. Okay. So if it's the same either way, why go through radiation? He couldn't answer it, other than he thought I should. So I went for a second opinion at U of M. Talked to a great doctor there. Really loved the doctor. If he was closer, I'd probably go to him. But he basically said kind of the same thing. It's a gray area with what you had, being male, the whole thing. Which I've heard from the oncologist, the nurse practitioner, everybody I've talked to, from the start. But the thing that he pointed out is when they cut that stuff out, if they left one cell that's still there that comes back, I could get the cancer again. And because it was a very aggressive, fast spreading cancer, and I didn't know I had it the first time, would I know I have it the second time before it spreads, and one of the things that they said that it does is goes into the bone. He said, which is another whole ball game for treatment. He also mentioned that the chemo may not respond the second time as well as it did the first time, which would be a concern, obviously. And he said, I asked him, I said, so if it was you or your, a relative of yours, your son, daughter, mother, father, wife, he said, I would tell him to do it. If it was me, I would do it. You're basically looking at, do you risk, it'll increase my chances of lymphedema in the arm 20 to 25% by doing it. But do you want to risk not doing it? I'm already at a higher risk anyway. I may still get lymphedema in my arm. Either way, do you want to risk getting cancer, the possibility of cancer returning over it? And I really don't. So I agreed to do the radiation. So that's where I'm at now with that. I'm not sure, Chris, what you mean. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know less about this whole thing than probably anybody. Beth would know. She's been. It was HER2 positive, I think they said. I believe that's what they said it was, HER2 positive. I don't know if that makes any sense or not. Oh, that's all from last year. I can't remember a lot of it. Been through so much crap since then. But anyway, so I'll be going through the radiation and that for, I think he said it would be a minimum of 6 weeks. So we'll see. I don't think I'll have to go more than 6 weeks because of the way they talked, but we'll see. Thank you, Donna. But that's pretty much where I stand now. The only other thing I've had issues with is my high blood pressure came back. I've been off my blood pressure meds for a while now, and because my blood pressure was low, and when I would stand up or whatever, I was starting to get lightheaded and nearly passing out. And now it's been high. So I've been seeing my doctor for that, but that's pretty much where I'm at now. So I'm, going through the radiation, and I don't think I have more planned, more coming up here in the future, but most of it's just the same thing with the doctors that have, cancer doctor, they uh lymphedema stuff. I'll be doing going through the therapy for that. Um that one starts, I believe, this week, um on Friday or something, but the radiation and the lymphedemas, and then some sporadic doctor appointments in between. Um, Luckily, they've been slowing down. I was going to so many doctor appointments. I had the cancer center. She said, when I talked to her, the one time I just stopped in there because it was easier than trying to call. And she says, "Well, can you come in on Wednesday?" And I said, "What time?" I said, "I already have 3 doctor's appointments that day. One at 8 o'clock in the morning in Toledo, one at 9:45 in Monroe, or in Flat Rock. So one downriver, one in Toledo, and then that afternoon in Monroe." And she said, "Oh, geez, you don't need another one." So um, but that's the way it was for every week, at least the first half of the week. Usually Fridays they didn't do a whole lot. Thursday or Friday, a lot of the doctors wouldn't take appointments. So I'm not sure. Uh, yeah, Joyce, I think so too. After talking to the guy at U of M, um, I felt a lot better about doing the radiation. Um, before that, I was dead set against it, um, and mainly because the guy couldn't explain. The doctor couldn't explain why I needed it. If he would have said, "Here's the deal," and explained it well, but instead of just keep repeating this guy's name and his study he did, uh, I probably would have had a different outcome before, when I seen him. But he couldn't explain it very well, and um, other than talking about that one study. But that one study isn't going to change the way they recommend treatment now. So I don't know. It was just, I just don't. I've never been one to go through a bunch of crap that I don't have to go through anyway. And he he just couldn't explain it well. If he could have, I would have probably changed, looked at it a little bit different. But uh, the U of M doctor was completely different. He explained it very well. So I think I'm making the right decision. I just hope it doesn't create the lymphedema in my arm, because I really don't want to go through that. Um, I have enough problems with my legs and stomach already. The last thing I need is issues with the lymphedema in uh, my arm. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Not much other than that going on. I was gonna the flip over to Daisy, but the my phone timed out, so the Daisy cam went down. That's where we're at right now. She's sleeping. She she's tired. It's nighttime. So I'll with that, I'm gonna jump off of here. I just wanted to give everybody a quick update. I've had a few people asking, and um, a couple of people complaining that they haven't heard anything, and I haven't done as well as with getting online and doing everything, and and keeping people up to date. Um, I always think, well, it's too late. Not, like some of the close family here locally mentioned it, and I said, the problem is it's late at night when I think about the stuff because we're so used to working midnights and everything, and I I think, well, I'll just do it in the morning, and then you get busy with doctor's appointments or whatever you're doing, and you don't think about it, and then next thing you know, it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, and there's been time, some stuff between there where I really didn't know. It wasn't until about 2 weeks ago that I agreed to doing radiation, um, and going through all that. We, um, in fact, the date uh, that I agreed to do the radiation was the Friday. I went to the cancer center. I left there. I agreed to doing it. Told them what that I had talked to the other doctor and what he had said, and that I was going to go forward with it. I left the cancer center in Monroe and went straight to Houghton Lake for Potographs for Pooches, Parafest in Houghton Lake there. So I left straight from the cancer center and went up there. And that was when my cousin Donnie had asked me about, and I was busy that whole weekend. I took the audio equipment up and for Tim, and then we had the event all day Saturday, and just being out there, it beat my ass. I was tired, so I was in bed early. Drove home Sunday, um, so I had told him I'll send a text out. I had planned on it Sunday night, but I fell asleep. Um, and then I woke up and it was late. And then I said I was going to do it on Monday. I think I did it on Tuesday because I didn't feel good. I got sick the following day. Um, I think between Sunday when I fell asleep, Sunday night or whatever, late evening, I think I slept 22 hours. Um, I was pretty beat, but yeah. So anyway, that's the latest. Um, I wanted, maybe if nothing else, I'll try and post some things on Facebook. I keep saying that, but I don't get on Facebook much. I really don't. Um, I might get on and post something about, with Daisy or whatever, but just random stuff here and there and just posting that. But, um, I don't know, it's been a couple of years since I really got on Facebook or any of the social media much. I think Twitter I did more than anything, but um, that was only because it was easier to follow everything on Twitter than it was Facebook. And you see the stuff that comes up in my feed, or I don't even know who half of them are. Most of them are anyway. With the paranormal stuff, we've got so many people that have added me over the years that, um, I don't know who they are. But I'll hear something about, that happened here locally or to somebody, something with the family or whatever. And I'll mention it to Beth and she'll say, yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago. Where were you? It was on Facebook. I wasn't. But, so anyway, like I've said from the beginning, if anybody ever wants to know anything, just send me a message, text, whatever. Um, I'll answer it, but, I apologize for not getting out more stuff out sooner or whatever, but I don't even think about it really anymore. Um, with everything going, I don't even think about sending anything out. If it's not on Facebook, it didn't happen. That's true, Jeff. And if you read it online, it's always true, right? So anyway, I'm going to jump off of here. I just wanted to give everybody a quick update. Some people were asking, especially with the event and that, but I really didn't have a whole lot to share at the time, and with everything going, by the time I think about getting online, it's always real late, and even this was later than I expected. But I had some issues with my laptop. I had done a factory reset on my laptop, and I never set anything up. So I was having issues with passwords, and I needed to check my email. My email account wasn't set up because I hadn't set my email up yet. Um, just a bunch of big hassle. So I finally got that done. It's not completely set up, but at least I can get on everything that I need to. So I'll let you go. Daisy would say good night if she was awake, but she's not. So I'll say good night for her, and talk to everybody later. Yeah, I'm good, Jeff. I went through everything. You can watch it when you're done, but basically, I'm doing radiation. Had some other crap in between. Bought a camper, but went seen some other doctors. My blood pressure's been higher. That's about it. The thing now is I'm doing lymphedema therapy and radiation. Other than that, that's pretty much the latest. There's some other minor things that Daisy's getting up. So that's the latest. Like I say, you can, if you want to know all the details, you can always watch the video from the beginning. I wouldn't waste my time. It's just an hour you'll lose of your life that you'll never get back. Of me flapping my gums. So that was the biggest thing. I just wanted to let everybody know I am doing radiation, and I didn't think I had to originally, because they told me, if the cancer, the chemo worked, that I probably wouldn't need to, and and then there was the issue with him not being able to explain it to me very well, and when like I said, I seen the second doctor at U of M, and he explained it very well, and I agreed to it. So I'm going to be doing the radiation. So that's the latest for you, Jeff. That should be a 6 weeks course. So we'll see. Yeah, you flapped your gums for 2 hours every Monday. Well, it's probably more interesting than what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm going to jump off of here, and I got to get something to drink. I forgot to bring something in here before I jumped on. I'm thirsty. I just wanted to update everybody. And if anybody ever has any questions or wants to know what's going on, or just give me a hard time or whatever, or even do lunch, or something stupid, I'm going to be off for, with everything going on. It's just going to be too difficult to work midnights and do all these appointments during the day. Radiation is going to be 5 days a week, and lymphedema, I believe, is going to continue to be 2 days a week. So we'll see if that changes, but as of right now, it's 2 days a week. You had doctor's appointments in. It's just too difficult to work midnights. Even if I can stay healthy enough to do it. So unfortunately, I just told my boss that I'm going to need at least 6 weeks off. He's been very good. I can't complain. My boss has been great. I love him to death. He he's really treated me well through this whole thing. Um, but it just sucks. It's, everybody bitches when, about going to work, and I just can't wait to go back. I'm just tired of sitting home. The only thing I leave for most of the time is doctor's appointments or treatment or tests or whatever. They've been calling today to schedule more crap. Um, so I'll be glad to go back to work at least for a few days. And then I'll probably be bitching. I don't, I just want to retire, or I don't want to work anymore, or win the lottery so I don't have to work or whatever. You know how it goes. Um, but anyway, I'm going to jump off of here. I appreciate all the prayers and the Daisy's turning over. She's going to flop. Told you. I appreciate all the prayers and everything. Thoughts, wishes, the healing, whatever, whatever you guys are doing. It's been working because, I've been getting better. So that's all that matters. Looking forward to doing some camping this year. I know some of the people that we know have campers, and we'll probably camp with them too. Looking forward to all that. So anyway, I'm going to jump off. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you all later. Thank you.